What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's long awaited. We're back in the shop, finally working on the Jeep again, so stay tuned. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so last time in this Jeep build, I had installed the Motobilt body armor, which you can go watch in a previous video if you missed it. But yeah, I installed that, and that thought, it led me to the point where I was ready to start prepping the donor tub for paint. Plans have changed since then. I think I've got a body shop now that I'm going to have paint the tub to match the old Jeep. So that's changed just a little bit, but now, today what I'm going to try to accomplish is to coat the body armor in Steel It. And if you don't know what Steel It is, it's a stainless steel spray paint sort of deal that you can weld through, and it's super durable, easy to touch up, and it's pretty sweet. So we're going to try that out today. First time I've ever used it, so pretty excited for that. And then if we get done with that, I've got to weld up one of the corners in my corner armor where like the factory hinge would be. It left like a big square cut out, so I'm about to cut a piece of metal, weld back into that. So we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. Let's get to work. Alright guys, so what I'm going to work on now, I'm going to take off a couple of these body armor sections at a time, get them sprayed with the Steel It, let them dry, and then rotate them back onto the tub so we can just keep things flowing and I don't have a bunch of body armor sections piling up. So we'll get that done and I'll bring you all along with it. Alright guys, so according to the instructions you get off Steel It's website, it says to prep the surface with a 36 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander, or to get it sandblasted beforehand. I don't have a sandblaster, so I'm just going to sand this down with some 36 grit and then wipe it down with some acetone, and then we'll get to spraying. Alright guys, so I got the surface all prepped, so now it says you need to shake the can for about 2 minutes and then it's ready to spray. So we'll get into spraying that. Pretty stoked. I've never used it and kind of curious. A lot of people will say it's pretty good, so I'm going to try it out for myself. Alright, I'm going to pick you guys up and show you this. This stuff's pretty cool. It sprays super thick. It's a really cool color. It's pretty neat. But yeah, so I put one coat on it. We're going to see how that looks when it dries. Probably throw another coat and then move on to the next section. So stay tuned. Let's get some more of this done. Alright guys, so I got this first section of body armor fully coated with that Steel It. So now I'm going to move on to the Motobilt front bumper that I have, and we're going to start that same process over again of sanding it and then coating it with that Steel It and then letting it dry and moving on to the next. So we're going to jump into a time lapse and I'll pick you all up in a little bit. All right, guys, so I got a good coat on the front bumper, and now the first section of body armor that we took off is now dry, so it's time to put it back on the tub and get off another section and start coating it. So we'll jump into that. All right, so in the meantime, while I've been waiting for paint to dry, I've been working on scraping off all these stickers so I don't have to worry about them later whenever it's time to paint this thing. So yeah, that's what I've been working on, and I'll probably cut into a little time lapse of me doing this. Alright guys, so I got those other body panel sections put on, so now I've got the rocker guards, so I'm going to get them sanded, coated, and then we'll get them back on the Jeep. Alright guys, I just want to jump in here and let y'all know that I've started making shirts. So if you want to go get a shirt or a hoodie for yourself to help support the channel, go on over to cmoffroadshop.com and get one for yourself. I've got this design going up on the shop right now, as well as these two hoodie designs. So if you like what you see, go get one for yourself. I would greatly appreciate it. Or even if you want to just get a sticker to support the channel, they're on there too. So once again, that's cmoffroadshop.com. Go get some. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I'm going to give y'all a little update of where we left off yesterday. So whenever I left y'all, we had just started putting a coating on this rear corner armor, and I also got all the rest of these body panels put on both sides. So yeah, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to throw this one back on the corner, and then we're going to pull off that passenger side corner where I'm going to have to weld up where the tailgate was supposed to go. So I'm going to pull that off, bring it up here, and then we'll get to pre-planning for that. Alright guys, so as you see behind me, I've got the final section of corner armor off, and as you see right here, Motobilt cut out these slots so that your factory hinge for your tailgate slides in like that. My plan is to not use the factory tailgate. I'm going to go with the Motobilt flip down tailgate, so I'm not going to be needing these hinges. So what I'm going to do is they included these backing plates to use with the hinge, and I'm going to cut and weld those in right there to fill that gap and make it all look flush. So I'm going to bring y'all along with me and let's get it done. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this backing plate, line it up as good as I can get it. Sharpie, and trace a perimeter around it. Alright, that should give me a good enough template where I can cut it out. And I'm going to see if I can just weld these holes right here just with the welder, not have to weld a plate in there. It's about a 1/4 inch gap, so I'm going to try to just plug that up. But if I need to cut out a little section of this weld in, I can, but I'm not planning on having to do that. Alright, so I got those. Let's get to cutting them out. Alright guys, so we got it cut off. Now let's get this grounded down around these edges. Alright guys, so I got everything set up right, so let's get to burning this little plug in. Alright guys, so as you see, I got everything plugged up, and I might have to go back on it later and, you know, fill in some little pinholes, but I'm gonna let this thing cool down. I'll come back later, grind it off, see how it looks, might add some more weld. But yeah, it plugged up the holes, so mission accomplished there. So let's move on to the next thing. Alright guys, I've done just about everything I can do today on this Jeep. I've gotten everything except for that rear corner coated in the Steelite. I've ran out. I'll have to go order some more of it to cover that rear quarter, as well as some more for what we're going to need in the future on this Jeep build. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys on the next one.